When I go meet with prospects, I never tell them that I'm coming by myself. I always say we, what time is a good time for us to come? And it could be me by myself, but a lot of times they don't know that. I make the expectation that it's more than one person who's coming to see. And even if I get there, a lot of times I'm like, oh, my colleague will be coming soon, even if they never show up, because so human trafficking is a big thing, right? Everywhere. And it's apparently pretty bad here in Florida. I don't know if it's bad everywhere. So it sets the expectation that somebody else knows where you are and somebody else knows that someone else is coming. Even if they don't show up, I'm like, oh, guess he got caught up or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And when they open the door, I usually let them go in first. Like I never go first and then put somebody else behind me. Like I always let them go in first, and I always take my phone with me whenever we go, because it is dangerous out there. And I feel like that's one of the disadvantages that we have as women. They would think about it twice before they, with a man. But
so I haven't had an incident with being unsafe around, a contractor or, a handyman or anything like that. But I did have an incident, John, I don't know if you remember this, but I had purchased a double wide and, walked through it completely trashed, walked through it with who I purchased it from. And, I went down there a few days later to, just check on the property, start getting some quotes and stuff to someone to clean all the trash out and all that good stuff. And I was on a break from work. So I just, I flew down there, and there was actually a squatter in the house. And I just saw their body go past the door because the door was kind of broken off. So I just I didn't even think something like that could even happen. I never factored that in. So it scared the life out of me. So I remember getting in my car and, flying off. I called John, told him about it. And I called an old friend of mine who ended up coming from work the next day to come down there with me again. And the person actually wasn't in there anymore. But, I told my mom about it, and she's like, why didn't you take a gun? You don't have anything to protect you. Why would you go out there alone? So now I typically take someone with me when I'm going to these homes in West Virginia, in these vacant areas, remote areas. I'm usually taking someone with me now.
Was that in a community or on land?
So weird situation. It was on land, not the only mobile home there. I actually bought two on that land, but then outside of that, there were a few other mobile homes owned by someone else. So it was behind, it was actually a strip club that went for sale. So behind there were two mobile homes. So I guess it was kind of like a land thing. And he wanted to do something else with the club and sold me the two mobile homes. It was scary though. It was scary. So now
I always think about the safety part too, being in, I'm not married, so I bring my mom with me, but she's elderly. So I'm like, what would you do if somebody did attack you in here? That's the thing.
I would have got
take self-defense. Yeah.
Right.
But I bring this little tiny pocket knife with me too. But still, Hi, I'm from Portland, Oregon. I bought my first house in 2015. And then around 2016, I started looking into doing commercial real estate, but I really started in 2020 with mobile homes.
Just trust your gut, if it doesn't feel like you should go in, don't go in. Because a lot of these houses are distressed, right? That you're going in. So, but if it doesn't feel right, that's the time to listen to your instincts. And I don't care how good it seems. You just reschedule, or you say, I need to come back, or whatever it is to get yourself out of there,
If you find sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I was just thinking recently that maybe it's a good idea to have a little paper spray in the car, just in case, because you don't know what's you're gonna meet in a mobile home park, because some of them are, is not very people with some criminal backgrounds too. So I was thinking pepper spray could be useful. I don't have one, but I was
I have one. I have one. I actually have it on me every time I go in to a mobile home, and I have it ready to go. Yeah.
But you never
on my keychain.
Right?
What's that?
Did you use it yet? No.
No, I've never used it. Thank God.
I haven't used it either.
Yeah.
I would suggest sorry. I would suggest too, if you do end up having a good relationship with a contractor or handyman, you could also bring them with you. And even as Yamara mentioned, say, you know, they're on their way, even if you don't know if they are or they're not, you could always say that. But I actually brought my contractor with me one time, and I'm happy that I did, because when we got there, the door that was never previously locked was locked. And we thought there might be squatters inside. So we kind of, he actually did the check around. And they weren't there then, but people had moved in. So in that situation, I was really happy to have him with me. So that helped.
I've done that a lot too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Steph.
Oh, I was going to say, I've done that too with my contractor, especially if it's a situation where I'm pretty sure that the seller, it's usually the sellers. It's usually sellers that I'm going into these situations, but I will bring my contractor. The other thing that I will do if he's not available is I will FaceTime with someone. And so I'll have them on FaceTime as I'm walking in. And so I think it helps a little bit to kind of like let the seller know, okay, now you're on camera, I've got your face here. And, just having the other person sort of there, virtually, I think is a little bit of a deterrent too.
That's a good idea.
Couple of comments here. One of the best things I learned from John's module was having a manager. I'm a worker bee. I'm always working for somebody else. It just changes the relationship. You're not the dealer. You're not the investor. You're not the money person. They come to know later on when they're writing the check. They're like, whom do I make it to? But until then, it's always the manager. And I'm like, and it also helps to dress modestly as well as ride a kind of plain vanilla cars. So it suits the persona. So you're not the big person, or, that it somehow changes the dynamics. And I found it to be very useful. And then comment on the pepper spray. I'm scared of dogs for the right reasons. So there's been some mobile homes I've gone in, just, 3-point turn and gotten out with all the loose dogs, and, pepper spray, never with people, but mainly because I'm scared of dogs. So.
Yeah, I do primarily wholesaling. So I'm on the phone with sellers all day long, and I don't want to be in my car driving from home to mobile home park all over the city. So I try to ask people to do photos and send me those. But, I have a gentleman talked to today that he wants me to come out and see his mobile home on land. He's not going to send me any photos. And, I'm willing to do it, but I will never go alone anymore. The first alone trips were pretty scary. Into some, neighborhoods I shouldn't be in on my own. And so now I always find investor friends. I've got a huge network of other women investors in the Orlando area. And I know who to call. I know who is interested in rehabbing. I know who's interested in design. I know who's a contractor, and that I can call one or two of them and say, let's spend, a few hours doing, some site visits. And these are potential homes that I can wholesale to them.
We've definitely had some situations that, I'm in the background, obviously in Canada. I'm not there doing a lot of the mobile home tours with Sarah, with my partner there. But we've had a lot of situations. For better or worse, we both come from day jobs where we are in unsafe situations pretty regularly. So I think we've probably developed a little bit of comfort that we probably shouldn't have developed. And then this is a whole new area of work for us. So that's led to some situations that we probably overestimated things. But we do lots of little things with, even just getting to know neighbors. And when we're selling, those neighbors are there and they're sometimes pretty chatty, and kind of building those relationships. I think maybe that's one of the benefits of being a woman. There's tends to be neighbors kind of watching out, and when it feels unsafe. I know Sarah stays outside now. We've talked a lot of this stuff through, and she'll stay outside while they go in and do a tour of the home and come back out and ask questions, or entering through lockbox, or keeping me on the phone. Her location is on all the time, so I can see where she is and keep an eye. We do a lot of safeguarding that we've adjusted as we've gone, for sure, to kind of figure out the safest way to do things, because that is a real concern for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask, do you all have the same concern also for homes in parks?
Yes, I was I like to talk, like Kim said, talk to neighbors. When I'm driving through a park, I like to talk to people who are outside their homes. What's it like living here, and what are you paying for rent? I'm thinking about moving in. And the one gentleman that just last week said, "Oh, I'm about ready to put my unit up for sale. You want to see it?" And luckily I had another investor with me. I had a friend in the car, because it was kind of creepy just walking into his house, unplanned. But
Would
luckily
you
I
have
had
done it?
somebody. I would not have done it had I been alone. No, that was too creepy. This guy just saying, "Yeah, come on in and see my house. I'm ready to put it up for sale." No, I wouldn't have done it on my own, but I feel braver when I've at least got one other person with me.
Yeah.
I would say sometimes there are park managers that maybe they require having to look at the outside of the home or do some sort of inspection before they will let the seller sell their home. So I have been in situations before where I could set up a time to meet with the park manager and the seller at the same time, because in that case, in that situation, the park manager has to be there anyway. So that's the extra person that's there.
These are a lot of things I've never thought about before. I feel like I've been willy-nilly through this whole thing. I haven't.
See, I would have went into the guy's house. Like, just
Yeah.
thinking, I would have went.